Welcome back to another behind the sound video on the Lamborghini Aventador. What we've been working on is stripping the car down, and these videos are all about showcasing what goes on actually behind the scenes on an audio upgrade of this caliber. It's going to be an absolutely amazing system. So what we're going to be doing is talking you around bits and pieces that we've done so far, what's yet to come, what the next stages are. So in terms of what we've got in this part here, right in the front, this is actually where the amplification stage is going to be. What we're using that's going to be going into here is the processor, plus also the amplifier in a fully custom enclosure. There's going to be elements of MDF built into it, through fabricated fiberglass, but also we're going to be adding a little bit of perspex, but also adding in some 3D printed elements to make this possible. In terms of what we're going to be doing here, so the Audison Voce 5.1K is going to be mounted in here. We've removed the front boot area, the actual cabin itself. We've put in one power cable at the moment, and then that is also fused at the front behind here. Plus there will also be a full access panel for servicing, and also instructions written down on how to actually remove the whole system completely for anyone that later on needs to service the vehicle, look after the vehicle, whatever they need to do. We write a full plan. Whenever we're doing something that covers up a serviceable area on a vehicle, a full plan gets written, so that anyone that works on the car later on is actually aware of exactly what goes on and how to access it without damaging any of the equipment. However, mechanical things, obviously a lot of people know how to do. Electrical, not so much, so we like to write that plan for them. So obviously this car looks quite scary for those of you who haven't worked on the car before, but one of these things that we do, your car is in safe hands with us. In terms of what we've got is inside the vehicle is a complete strip out. Reason for this is for a couple of different reasons, because we're adding in a sub into a vehicle that kind of isn't really designed to have a sub allocated into it. But the other thing is we're doing custom A-pillars using the Audison Thesis range. We've got a hell of a lot of work to crack on with. So Steve at the moment has been doing the majority of the work on the car. What he's installing at the moment is the skin soundproofing, which we'll go through shortly. That's basically going into a door card, so it's a 2mm layer that basically gets applied into the door card. At the moment he's going around the actual speaker housing itself, just to make that area a lot more solid and actually perform a lot better. So soundproofing does a couple of key things. It actually reduces rattles, resonations that you're getting from factory door cards, but also what it's doing is actually building a far better acoustic environment for the new sound system to work in. Obviously with these doors, because they do go upwards, we do need to allow for weight and things like that, and that's also quite an important thing. In terms of what we've done in terms of dashboard removal, interior removals, this has literally had everything stripped out. The full dashboard has been removed, and that's to actually do the custom A-pillars in such a way that is completely unique to what we've done before, but it's going to be absolutely spectacular. Obviously this is an insane level of stripping out of a Lamborghini Aventador, or any car for that matter. Then what we're doing is the back wall is all stripped out as well. Reason for that is basically because of the fact that we actually are putting in an 8-inch Audison Prima sub live directly in this middle area here. This is again going to be all built out of fiberglass, and we'll go through the fiberglass stages with you guys, and how we're actually building that into the vehicle, because that's a key thing. That obviously one of the things, obviously again, there's serviceable parts behind the scenes on these cars. They need to be accessible, and we'll write a full plan again of how to access those, remove all our equipment so people can go in and service the vehicle. In terms of that, it's going to be an 8-inch sub in a fully custom enclosure, but that's going to kind of spread behind the seat to give it a little bit more of a kind of hidden effect. You're not really going to hopefully be able to see it very well. It's going to be quite discreet. It's going to be nice, subtle, but also perform with that extra little bass that the customer was lacking. Plus we've obviously got the clarity coming from those tweeters, the Audison Thesis range at the top. So it is going to be an absolutely phenomenal system. What we've also got going into the doors is the Audison Thesis 6.5-inch drivers. We're going to over to the bench now and basically go through a little bit more about what is actually done on here. So this is the 2mm layer. So this is skin soundproofing. This is getting applied inside those doors, and then we'll use the 3mm layer across the actual base and the bottom of the vehicle. Obviously, as you can see, it's all stripped out. All of that will be applied with a 3mm layer, basically because that's a little bit more dent. What it also does is it builds and gets rid of a lot of that road noise, and actually makes the exhaust tone, which is quite strange, but it also makes the exhaust tone a lot louder, because it's not, the exhaust tone's not going through into the vehicle and being lost. It actually transforms out and goes back out into the open air, so the actual factory exhaust system will actually sound a little better, and that's what I actually found on my own car when I did the full soundproofing. So that's basically in there. That's the skin's 2mm layer. Another thing that I wanted to talk you through is the cable. On these systems, we've seen it plenty of times. People have installed all sorts of different equipment into vehicles. However, they do this massive system, but then they let it down by the cable. This is oxygen-free cabling that we use from Connections. We only use the finest stuff from Connections wiring on all of our systems. So that's not even just signals going back out to the actual speakers themselves. That's actually signals going into the actual amplification stage and processing stage on the system. So it's very important that the cabling is also up to caliber with the level of equipment that you're actually putting into the systems. Another key thing that I wanted to talk to you as well is about how the wiring is run. It's very, very important, guys. This is basically always run alongside manufacturer wiring, so it's nice and easy and nice and obvious to basically move away, distinguish between factory and non-factory, but also it sits in the car perfectly. You don't see anything, which is really, really nice. We have to also run one cable already into the back of the vehicle, and that's actually going to be running for the actual, so this cable here, this is going to be for the custom lighting solution that we're adding into here. So we've got, I think, 6 lights going in, just lighting up that engine bay, which will be really, really nice as well. It just sets it off, especially with the white car. Obviously a lovely, lovely color. It'll make a massive difference there. One other really special thing, which we'll go through as probably a completely separate video once the install's done, showing you a bit more how about that's done, is actually adding in a front and rear dash cam. You may be thinking, how on earth are you going to do that on this car? We'll go through all of that, so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video where we go through exactly how we're going to do a front and rear thinkware dash cam on this Lamborghini Aventador. In terms of what we've got here, this is something Steve has built up yesterday. So basically what this is a speaker ring. You might be thinking it's a bit of a strange shape. Basically, the reason why this is built at the moment, it's all obviously got to be finished off, but this is all about showing you behind the scenes the different stages that are actually involved in doing something like this. So this is yet to be finished, but we wanted to show you kind of in the raw, at the foundation stage in essence, what's actually involved in doing something like this. So these are going to house the Audison Thesis 6.5-inch drivers. I mean, these are an incredible bit of kit. These are actually the same set that I've got in my Mustang, in my demo car. And there is 5 vehicles in my workshop that actually are having this speaker fitted. These are our most popular speaker that we do as a 6.5-inch driver. So these retail at £1,150 for the set, so you get 2 for that, and that generally goes into your front doors. But that basically will, in essence, sit into the actual compartment like so. And the reason why it'll basically sit into the door like that is because on the Lamborghini Aventador grille that you've got in the actual door, which we actually have one here. So the grille that sits down on the bottom of the door sits a bit like that. In essence, basically what that is because now what we've done, the factory speaker used to sit slightly higher up and sit flat. And obviously the grille that's in there is relatively small. So what we've done is actually move the entire speaker down inside the door without touching the actual door itself. So there is nothing visible whatsoever in terms of actually on the door card itself. You cannot see a thing, and there's zero modification behind the scenes to actually allow for this to be on axis slightly. So it raises it up and it gives that mid bass. Having it on axis makes it such a difference to the mid bass performance. Plus, once we soundproof that door, this system is absolutely gonna rock. So that's basically slightly on axis. As you can see, it's been built up slightly just so to give you the axis point, and then that will basically form a little bit better into that grille. Obviously, acoustically, any grille is blocking sound, and ideal we wouldn't have that in the system. However, it's one of those things, a balance between a factory look also with a brilliant sound, and that's where these sorts of products, and that's where the build stage behind the scenes and the installer that's working on the car and how they're doing the system and the level of care, attention to detail that they're going to be taking into actually building the setup makes such a difference. So on this system, we've got a stock look actual door cards themselves, however with a lot of custom work behind the scenes. Then we've got a 8-inch sub going behind the seats, which will look really, really cool. Plus we're also going to have those custom A-pillars. They will be on display, they will have a different trim to them. However, they absolutely rock. They're going to be on axis directly firing right to the driver, and it's going to sound absolutely amazing. So that's overall a little bit more about what the products are actually going into the car, but also where we're up to, what's been stripped down so far. Obviously the level of detail we go to on any system that we do is amazing, and the guys literally, I was off yesterday and I've come back and the car's even more stripped down than what I was anticipating, but honestly it's going to look absolutely amazing. It's going to sound absolutely fantastic. I'm really proud that we're working and may actually be able to show you guys what the level of car we're working on, but also what we're actually doing to these cars. Yes, we have these cars in, lots of people do work on those cars, but it's what we're actually doing to them and the levels we're setting day in and day out. We've literally got the Lexus Lamborghini Aventador, I've got an Audi R8 which we're going to be filming shortly as well, then a Ferrari 355 GTS. We're both having full custom sound systems, so make sure you stay tuned. We're going to start doing a bit more of these behind the sound videos, basically walking you through what's actually involved, a little bit more detail, so not only you can see finished videos which we'll still be filming on all of these cars, but you'll also actually be able to see exactly what goes on behind the scenes, what level of detail needs to be done, a level of attention, a level of skill that actually needs to be taken into account when installing a system like this. So overall, thank you very much for watching our short video on another behind the sound video on the Lamborghini Aventador. We're going to be heading over, filming a couple of the other cars later on today, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss another one of our videos. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you soon.